We work very hard to make our names, and when our names are maligned and pulled into places where they don't belong to be, it's very, very disturbing. Telugu film, which I'm shooting for right now, with Pavan Kalyan, and I really wanted to go into their space and see what they do. And I'd done this way before RRR, KGF. Aarik is also an absolute doll, and I'm very blessed to have him. When I lost my mother and I got Aarik, it was almost like, God had sent me a gift. Katrina was pregnant in it, no? Which, and so maybe I should be reborn as her child. It'd be nice to have Katrina play my mother. Hi, I'm Arjun Rampal, and you're watching me on ETimes.
Hi, this is Amina Sheikh here, and with me today I have the very dapper, the handsome Arjun Rampal, welcoming him on ETimes. Before I start this interview, of course, I've been crushing on you since such a long time. Pyar, Ishq aur Mohabbat. And now, of course, watching your performance in Dhaakad it's of course getting me excited a lot because I've seen you playing grey shade as well as that, lover boy image. So tell us something about this character.
Thanks, Amina. That's very kind of you and very sweet what you were telling me about Pyar Ishq Mohabbat and Jaan Lewa, and she was singing Ek Ajnabi's Mama told me right now before we started this interview. So, it's been a long journey since then. I think क्या होता है कि एक दौर आता है, and there's a time where you also want to shift gears. You want to go onto more I like gritty, powerful, well written, etched out characters, which I want them to go in and not see me, but see the character. And I think the character of Rudravir allows me to do that in Dhaakad. उसमें ऐसा कोई नहीं, इसमें ऐसी कोई क्वालिटी नहीं है जो मुझ में है. Okay, बिल्कुल अलग किस्म का ही इंसान है. He is a very evil man. He's a very vicious man. He's got no emotions. He's very violent. He's very aggressive. वो जिस तरीके से खून करता है, मारता है. He's got this axe, this hatchet, जिसके साथ वो लोगों को मारता है. And there's a scene where in his backstory, आप पिक्चर देखेंगे आपको पता चलेगा, where he has to hack a guy's head in. And it's quite an intense scene. उसमें जब मैंने अपनी आँखें देखी, even I got scared. Yeah.
So also working with Kangana Ranaut, and she's of course, she's very good when it comes to her performances, the kind of characters she's played in the past, and she's very fierce like that. So somewhere were you a bit skeptical because she comes across as very aggressive in terms of her roles, in terms of her action-oriented roles also. How was it while you're working with her?
No, I was not skeptical at all. I've known Kangana for a very long time. Okay, I've known her. In fact, Kangana and I got our first national awards together. It was in the same year. She got it for fashion, for best supporting, and I got it for Rock On.
Okay.
For Rock On, and we both were there together. In fact, after that, she even came to my nightclub in Delhi, and we partied together. And she's come home, and she's we've met each other a number of occasions, and she's a very sweet girl. And I've seen her evolve as an actor. I think her evolution and the kind of choices that she made and the selection of films kind of showed that, it's not only about her. She is an actor who's going to think about the whole film. So when you get people like that to work with, and you can have an opportunity to work with people like that, my advice to anybody is they must do it. Because then that person just doesn't think about themselves. And Kangana is like that when it comes to a film. जब मैंने हाँ कही थी to Sohail and Rezi that yes, I will do this film, after a couple of meetings, she was very excited. In fact, she called me and she said, Arjun, you have to own this character and you have to do, you sit with this guy, he's a new director, you work on the role and all. I was like, don't worry, I'll do that and everything. And similarly, because my approach is also very similar. when I sign a film, it's not just me who I look at. I look at all the characters. I look at, what everybody is doing. Is it necessary, not necessary? Sometimes I feel like, oh no, this character is falling weak. We should give him more to do because that's going to help the script to go forward. And we work like that. So, and she's very similar on that level as well. So it was perfect. She's a complete professional to work with, and we had a really, really good time doing it.
Also, talking about this movie, I saw the trailer and it's quite different. It's not the normal Bollywood film which we watch. It's something which has some different kind of storyline to it, and something which we may not watch on screen when it comes to Bollywood movies and all. So when you were narrated the script, what were your thoughts? Your personal thoughts on this?
So first I thought it was very unique, कि, for India, that कि हम film बना रहे हैं where the lead protagonist is a woman who's going to be doing this really intense level of action. So obviously you need somebody with that physicality, but it wasn't just about the physicality. There is a person who has to go through a huge amount of emotion as well. There is an emotional graph or a kahani hai which takes you through that graph. So you needed a good actor as well.
That's true.
The other thing was ki jo dunya, the world that he was creating, Rezi. And Rezi is that kind of a director who comes from the advertising world. And so his aesthetic sense, wo jis tarike se shoot karna chahte the, unki jo sensibility thi about the film, how he saw everybody, the way he wanted to stylize everybody, was very, very clear in his mind. His taking, he wanted to do really long shots, which go on and on and on. And with Rudraveer, he's done that, in a lot of my scenes, where he just holds the camera and he just moves on and on and on, and doesn't cut it. And so he had a lot of things in his mind that he wanted to do. He'd also brought this fantastic cinematographer, DOP, onto the set, who actually won an Oscar. Okay, Tetsu-san. He's a Japanese cinematographer who lives in Paris and has done a lot of European films and Hollywood films. I'd seen that guy's work and I knew that this was going to be something really, really special. He'd put together the best action team from all over the world to come down. People who've done Bourne Ultimatum, to Batman, to Aquaman, to Mr. O, who's from Korea, who's done huge action films, And so I knew that if he gets all the resources that he wants to make this film, and this is the kind of technicians he's bringing onto this film, this man's got a very clear vision about what he wants to make. Also, he was being very bold with his first film, even though it's his first film, to invest in a character which is a woman. And, is women-centric. And I come from also a life where my hero has been my mother, So for me to do a woman-centric film is not difficult. Because I know what women are. I know, and I have 2 daughters, And so for me, I was just like, you know what? We should do this. We should back this. We should support this.
At the same time, you also said, this doing women-centric film is like paying homage to your mother. And of course, she had a very tough, battle with, of course, I would not get into details, but you have also, been with her, and you have stood right like rock for her. And, single parenting, which is not that easy, and wish she was here, to see the kind of, tribute you're paying in a way that, the kind of roles you're doing. Journey for you has been tough ever since. Like, I have never seen you being in your shell for such a long time, to be very honest. It's been quite like, oh, where is Arjun Rampal? There is this question. Have things changed for you as a person? Like, have you become quite reclusive?
I think so. I think that's fair to say. And it's been a very conscious choice and a decision that I had to make for myself, where I have seen everything. God's been very kind with the kind of opportunities that I've got. There's lots that I have seen and experienced which have personally, I think, made me a person who was not the person 10 years ago. And I'm very happy with that. There's a lot more calmness. There's a lot more peace there's a lot more clarity. And what else can a person want, you know? And I have all of that. I have a lovely family. I love to spend time with them. And I have got great work. And I love spending time. My favorite time to spend is on a film set. So, yes, I think things happen in your life. And change is inevitable. Nothing is permanent. I'm not permanent. You are not permanent. Nobody's going to be here forever. And I think to live in the moment and to give it all that you've got at this point in time is how I want to live my life.
At the same time, you know, even during this lockdown, Arjun, things have not been that easier for you also. You have been mired in controversies where you never were involved personally, and you know, the media glare, the constant, you know, hogwash, the constant coverage on such topics. Did that deter your confidence in any way as an actor? Did that, like, you know, make you feel like, why exactly I've been put in a situation where I don't have as such involvement in it?
I mean, you know, yes. I mean, it was very, very disturbing, and it was heartbreaking to see what was happening. But you know, you can't fight certain systems and, you know, people. And I thought the best way is let them just go through whatever they have to. And, you know, that's the best way to clear your name when, or, you know, whatever it is that is happening. I think it also makes you stronger and more aware and more wary about how you should also conduct yourself and how, you know, who you should have around you and who you shouldn't have around you. So I think all those things were a big learning, a big lesson, a huge experience. It is extremely disturbing and heartbreaking when something like that happens, because we work very hard to make our names, and when our names are maligned and pulled into places where they don't belong to be, it's very, very disturbing. And but yes, I mean, I think just the fact that we are here today and, you know, doing what we want to do is a victory for all of us.
And how fatherhood has changed you, especially with your son, because we see such cute pictures and like such, you know, mushy pictures actually. So how that has changed for you?
I mean, fatherhood has changed me from when I became a father when I was 28 with Maika.
Yeah.
You know, I love children. I've always loved children. They are my, you know, inspiration. They are my everything. Aarik is also an absolute doll, and I'm very blessed to have him. You know, when I lost my mother and I got Aarik, it was almost like, you know, God had sent me a gift. So for me, it's very, very special, and my family is very special to me.
But I must say that you made people jealous after you know, you revealed about your relationship with Gabriella, because of course there were a lot of girls who thought like, chalo, abhi to chilak hai, he's single right now, so okay. But then you literally like, so how was your bond with her, you know, and how things have
She's a very special person. We are very close to her. We understand each other very well. And she's been a great influence in my life. You know, so and I hope I'm a great influence in her life. I think that's what a relationship should be. And touch wood, we are very content and happy.
Talking about your role in Raajneeti, that was also applauded a lot, because, you know, the way you were, you know, the aggressive person, and then, you know, how you mellowed down and all, you know, when you fall in love with Katrina in the movie. When will we get to see Raajneeti 2? Because that is one film. And will we get to see you doing some different kind of role, or maybe completely different script altogether? Will that ever
Raajneeti
happen?
2, I died in it, so
I know, but you know,
don't know when Raajneeti
if
2
you know,
is.
Raajneeti 2 happens, maybe a different storyline altogether.
I think Katrina was pregnant in it, no? When
Yeah.
she, and so maybe I should be reborn as her child. It'd be nice to have Katrina play my mother.
Oh, wow. Just imagine.
Just a joke.
Yeah.
I'm just joking. You know, I mean, Raajneeti was a film that got made. We always get into nowadays a franchise and a part 2 and a part 3. If it happens organically, great. And I know I won't be part of it because my character died. It's not for any other reason. I love Prakash Jha. I think he's one of the finest directors. I've done 3 films with him, and he's taught me a lot. So I hope he does a Raajneeti, because that's his space, and if he can find you know, new characters and brings it onto screen in the right way. But I don't know when that's going to happen, because obviously it's not been discussed with him, but I'm sure he's always had it in his mind to do it. But will I do a political film again? Is that what you're asking me? I don't know. It really depends. If I get a really, really good script, I think it's a very interesting world to explore.
The kind of roles you have done, the romantic roles have been somewhere where, like I told you personally, like even now I watch such films, like I would love to see you, doing. You have taken a break somewhere because the kind of roles you're doing right now is quite action-oriented, and being a part of OTT. When will we get to see you doing a lover boy again?
I'm not a boy anymore.
Yeah, but
so
would you
I
prefer,
can't do a lover boy.
say a deep kind of a love story, maybe, a different kind of a love story, a mature love story, maybe?
I would love to. I mean, if there's a nice matured love story which isn't a lover boy or typical kind of a film. But yes, I think love is the most beautiful emotion and it's incredible. And I think relationships are very important things, which can be discussed and done and, lend itself to. But if it is just a rom-com or a, tamashe wali love story, I don't think I'll fit into it. I don't think I'll be comfortable in that skin. But yes, if there's a really nice, beautiful love story to do, and if you find one, please let me know.
And at the same time, talking about your role, of course, and as I said, what's next for you after this one?
So I've done this. Then London Files just came out. This has happened. Then there's The Rapist, which is a film with Aparna Sen. And that's a very sensitive movie with Kangana and me.
And the trailer is very good.
And it's doing really, really well in all the film festivals. And I was very upset I couldn't go to Kolkata because I felt sick just before I was going to go. And there was a kilometer-long line of people there waiting. So I'm really sorry for all those people who I couldn't meet. But I've got some incredible reactions from there. And there's two films I've done with two directors who I really wanted to work with in a commercial space, which are Abbas Mastan, which is Penthouse and Three Monkeys.
Okay.
And so those two will come out thing. Then there is a film which I'm doing, just completed right now with Hani Trehan, with Diljit and me. Okay, that's a nice true story and a drama based on real incidents in Punjab, which we just completed. There's the Battle of Bhima Koregaon, which is a period film, and then there is a Telugu film which I'm shooting for right now, with Pavan Kalyan, and I really wanted to go into their space and see what they do. And I'd done this way before RRR, KGF and thing had come. I'd signed this film much earlier. It's with Krish. And I've started shooting for it, but that I'm quite excited about.
Don't you sort of feel the way things are expanding, when it comes to, exploring down south with roles, with the kind of movies, don't you feel that it's quite good somewhere? It's like welcoming different cinema altogether. Of course, it's been there since a long time though.
This is what I beg to differ there. A lot of people say that. I think this is one industry. It's the Indian film industry. Okay. Yes, Bollywood, Tollywood, all of this, whatever we say, is all parts of it. That goes more towards regional spaces and all of that. But it's one industry. I think all actors today are very clear that it's one industry. There is bound to be collaborations. There's bound to be, more interactions between everybody, and not just in India. Even internationally, you will see this starting to happen, where languages don't mean anything. Language doesn't mean anything. Don't we watch Italian films? Don't we watch Spanish films? We've been watching French films. We're watching Iranian films. We've been watching German films. We're watching English films. We watch Hindi films. We watch Tamil films. We watch Telugu films. We watch Korean films. We watch Bengali movies. How have we not watched all these films? Don't all these films connect with us? And they connect with us if they're emotionally, the emotions are the same. But it's all human beings working in those films. It's all the same thing. So I don't think today even a show from Korea, that Squid Game, that did so well. True. Who expected that to happen? But it happened, right? And it happened all world over. So it's nothing like that. I think people are now getting access very easily to these kind of films.
That's true. Yeah.
That's what's happened. You know, the distribution and the reach and the accessibility to these films has happened now, and that's why we can get to watch them. You know, but if a film was just released down south, if you're sitting in Mumbai, or if you're sitting in Delhi, or if you're sitting in Chandigarh, or you're sitting in Jammu Kashmir, and if it's not released there, how would you know about it?
True.
How would you see it? Today, it has an opportunity of being released everywhere. Same way, we all have an opportunity to think. I think OTTs played a big role in it.
Yes.
Because when it's released on OTT, automatically people go and watch it.
Yes.
Now they've got familiar with it.
Yes. That's true.
Nobody ever rejected or said this is your industry or this is our industry or this is it. Okay? They just didn't know how to bring it forward.
Yeah.
The distribution network was not there. Today that distribution network is there. Boundaries have been broken, and I'm so glad that that's happened.
Lastly, one role of yours which has been very exhausting or say, very tough for you to play on screen. One of your roles.
I mean, London Files was a very difficult part for me to play as that cop. Okay, I think The Rapist was extremely exhausting for me to do, because it's a very, very intense film. It deals with not only the victim who has been a part of the rape, but actually what rape does to the whole family and to relationships between a husband and wife, where I'm playing the husband.
And I saw the trailer, it's very,
and
it's like it makes you cry somewhere.
Yeah, and it's a really sensitively handled film. That was very tough. I think Dhaakad was not an easy film to do. Okay, even though it's stylish and cool and this, that and the other, when you play such a evil person, you kind of, it stays with you to, and you kind of,
sometimes you get into the character.
Yeah, you don't ask for coffee nicely. Something is wrong with you.
Wow. Also, there was this comparison of London Files, like, with the name, there was this comparison to Kashmir Files. People were actually getting confused with it just because, London Files hai, to, Kashmir Files.
नहीं confused तो नहीं हुए, but everybody thought कि शायद हमने London Files ले ली क्योंकि Kashmir Files अभी release हुई है और उसका हम फायदा उठा रहे हैं, फायदा उठा रहे हैं. वो गलत है, because actually, and I'll tell you this very honestly, the film was, so the series was supposed to be called The Return, which I really personally really liked that title. But that title was with another producer.
Okay.
And Ajay, who was the producer on this, tried really, really hard to get it from this producer, the title. And that gentleman didn't give it to us for whatever reason. And the second choice for that was London Files. Okay. Always. Before Kashmir Files had even come out. So they said, chalo, London Files rakhte hain. And then Kashmir Files had come, and I told them also कि यार, I'm going to be going and doing interviews और सब मेरे से यही पूछेंगे. Then they said, just tell the truth ना. सच बोल दो कि हमारी फिल्म का title actually The Return था. And if you see in my Instagram thing also, initially when I posted when I was in London shooting for The Return or London Files, I'd called it The Return. So, but The Return is with somebody else. So we didn't have it. They thought this was the second best title to give it. And now it's stuck with it.
Okay.
And now we'll have a season 2 of it also, so you'll be stuck with it even more.
Thank you so much for your lovely time and all the very best for your projects. And of course, I am definitely going to watch many of your films as I've watched in the past.
Thank you.